Hello and welcome back to another episode of my Skyward Sword playthrough. In today's episode, we are returning to the Lanayru Region to explore further into the vast desert, find Nayru's sacred flame, and power up our sword even further. Upon opening into the game, I promptly return to the Isle of Songs to once again hear from the singing goddess statue. This time, statue descends from the tower above, suspending from the ceiling by what appears to be some incredibly sturdy ropes. Accompanied by Fee singing once more, we acquire Nayru's wisdom and immediately depart for Lanayru. I couldn't quite remember where the entrance to the Silent Realm was here and dropped in quite far, relying on my dowsing to locate it. Much like every other time before, I struggled with motion controls when playing the Goddess Harp, but eventually managed to open the gateway into the Silent Realm. This run through the Silent Realm was a bit rougher than the previous. Breezing through the first couple of tiers and finding myself full of confidence in my ability, I stumble right into a field of little tattletale lantern guys and find myself running out of time while simultaneously trying not to alert the murderous guardians. Oh shit, it's a good thing I went for that one when I did. It would have been a nightmare trying to get back from that. And it's going to continue being a nightmare trying to get back from this. I eventually opted to just make a mad dash for the nearest tier, knowing I couldn't possibly make it out of the fields of anxiety in time anyway. shit. It's gonna be a mad dash, guys. We might fail this one. Come on. Okay. Woo. Oh. Having nearly shit myself, I successfully return to peace and tranquility and continue making my way around the desert. With all the tears collected and returning to the gate in one piece, I'm awarded with the Claw Shots, a wonderfully helpful tool and a necessary object in our quest further into this arid wasteland. I soon reach a previously unavailable cave where Golo, a new Goron, can be found digging out a tunnel in his search for the great dragon of this region. He tells us it'll be a while before he's dug out the old cave, but that we can go check out the old docks. Fortunately for us, that's exactly where we need to go. Down on the pier, we encounter a new model of the LD-301 line of robots. This time, it's an LD-301N Skipper. Having reactivated the time shift stone powering his past futuristic dinghy, we set course for his old hideout, where he has a map of the ancient ocean that once filled this now desolate region. He needs the old map, and not our current map, in order to direct us to the sacred flame hidden aboard a massive ship he was once the captain of. With the outdated map in hand, he next sends us to the shipyard, where I encounter Gortram, the third Goron we've now met, and ride some awesome roller coasters. Besides that though, we don't find anything here except for a Moldarak rematch fight. Returning to Skipper with the bad news of his missing boat, he suggests we check out the secret hideout of the pirates who had stolen his boat. Why we didn't go straight there once we had the map is beyond me, but we get there in the end, so whatever, I guess. I work my way through the old rundown fortress, finding nothing but a few broken masts. Fortunately, this is enough for Fee to be able to let me douse for the ship directly. With the ability to douse for the ship, it's now reasonably possible to find the invisible frigate. I probably should have mentioned that fact by now in this script, seeing as how Skipper would have mentioned this already, and in playing the game yourself, you would have known this fact prior to me showing you the ship directly, but that's not how I've chosen to write this. The awkward flow of some details is important to my methods and nothing else. The Sand Ship is another one of my favorite dungeons from this game. With a wonderfully unique and interesting design. Unlike the Ancient Cistern, however, this dungeon houses my least favorite Zelda boss ever. But I'll cycle back around to that topic when it's actually time to show that abomination on screen. Not far into the Sand Ship, I encounter the dungeon mini-boss, LD-002G Servo, a fierce robotic swordsman wielding some kind of fucked up cattle prod as if it were a pirate's rapier. I get my butt kicked a few times before remembering that I can use my shield to parry attacks and unbalance my enemy. This remarkable revelation truly turns the tide for me, and I force Servo to walk the plank. The reward for dispatching Robopirate is the bow, our best and final piece of equipment. The bow will allow us to solve some cool and unique puzzles as we progress through this dungeon, take out unsuspecting enemies from a distance, and ultimately aid in how infuriating the boss of this dungeon is. Still holding that thought. Before we can wrap up completely, we need to save the prisoners of this ship and make our way through the engine room towards our prize. A room full of Beamos, who all immediately spot you when you walk in. These three soulless killers are guarding the boss key. With the boss key now in hand, we can open the boss door, which leads into an empty room. It's here that everything turns sideways with this dungeon. Literally. Giant tentacles burst through the floor and the walls, and the ship begins to tilt. Once this sequence is triggered, you are forced to play classic Donkey Kong on the Titanic, trying to take as little damage as possible before reaching the actual boss, all while dodging the boss's gross tentacles. Tentacles which can only be cut by a Skyward strike, by the way. Once you manage to claw your way to the exterior of the ship, you are greeted by the owner of the hentai appendages, the abyssal leviathan, Tentacles. Looking like the mutated love child of Celia and Smitty from Monsters Inc., this horrible freak easily earns its place as objectively the worst Zelda boss ever concocted. Motion controls are in no way helpful with this beast either, as its constant moving makes it frustratingly difficult to hit with the bow. This boss decides to add to my disdain for it by also bringing my running streak on dungeon bosses up until this point to an end, taking several frustrating attempts to defeat. Here's that final fight though, as I don't want to look at that fugly Rastafarian Kraken for longer than I need to. I mean, Majora's Mask isn't necessarily my favorite, but I don't see why you could hate Majora's Mask because that was really difficult for me to get out. Jesus. Yeah, I was about to say. Majora's Mask, if anything, is one of the fan favorites out there. Sword to check on I only have the one sword. You have to time that initial shot perfectly, or you're going to fight for your life trying to get that shot off. Yeah, again, or I guess not again, but while technically correct, Bob, not the spirit of the comment. Or nature of the comment, I suppose. Yes, sir, I am in a desert using some magic time BS. I mean, playing any Zelda game in VR doesn't really sound all that fun. Maybe some of the more recent ones, like Breath of the Wild. This in VR might actually be well done, if because I'm pretty sure again VR is better than. Pretty sure VR's controls are better than motion controls are. We have 4 hearts left. We shouldn't have much of this fight left. Oh, that's right. The stupid hair. Every goddamn time. Oh, for God's sakes, yes! Oh my god. Oh! Alright. Cutscene. And then save. Turn it off. With Tentacles now dispatched, I light the sacred flame and enhance my sword. Yup. I do love that, like, every single time, Fee is super extra with this. And she could just, like, gently envelop the sword, but she's like, nah, I'm gonna rain down from the sky like a meteor. Dowsing abilities, search for more objects. Sweet. I hadn't even filled up the 4 slots that I initially had. Well, it would be entertaining, but she is aiming for the sword. Now we're marked with wisdom, as well as courage. New melody. Recommend we return to the Isle of Songs. I like that idea, Fee, but now there's only one flame left, and then I will be able to open the Gate of Time. But for today, this is where we end. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, then don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that little bell icon to be notified when I post or go live. Or join the Discord for those same notifications, and hang around the chat and share memes with the community. Link is in the description below. I stream Zelda every Friday from 5 PM until 8 PM. With Skyward Sword nearing an end, we will be starting Minish Cap in just a few weeks, so be sure not to miss that. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.